Welcome to this very special edition of the KAJ Masterclass Live, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts, either through the industry insights, information, or simply learning from them. And today we have Traci Hill. She is a coach who specializes in helping people heal physically by raising vibrations and releasing negative emotions and attachments using subtle energy. Welcome to the show, Traci.
Thank you so much for having me.
You are welcome to the show, Traci. You are welcome to India in this online form. And I'm sure not just in India, but a lot of people across the globe will benefit from what we'll be talking about. We'll be talking about energy healing. We'll talk about living a healthy and peaceful life. So first thing to understand, Traci, is a lot of people know about energy and they have heard about energy healing. A lot of people explain it in their own manner. I would like to understand for the audience through you, what is your understanding of energy healing and what is a subtle energy alchemist, so that people get to understand it at the start itself, so that they can make the best use of what you will be talking.
Excellent. Energy healing is thinking outside the physical body, because everything is made of energy. I'm sure, as your audience knows, everything is frequency, including our thoughts. And so it's taking that knowledge, and I like to give people the tools aside from diet and exercise and the typical physical remedies to heal the body at the cellular level. So whether that is, we have multiple energetic bodies outside of our physical. So whether that's like, hey, you need to go see an acupuncturist, or hey, let's remove some ancestral trauma that you inherited. So there's a multifaceted way of doing this, but energy healing is essentially bringing your body back to whole. And it might include physical, but it includes the whole body, mind, body, spirit, etc. So a subtle energy alchemist, as I call myself, is I help people, again, give them the tools to raise their vibration and heal on an energetic cellular level, so that they can heal themselves, as I did for myself. And not that they don't ever have to go to the doctor, but they won't have to rely on medication and surgery, because we are a multifaceted being with so much more to life than just this physical body. And when you understand how to manipulate your energy and how it's affected by everyday things, then you can learn how to adjust it and rebalance all of your energetic fields back to homeostasis.
Right, Traci. So who needs this
Everybody.
energy healing? Because generally people who have a problem, they would like to go to a chemist, over-the-counter medicine, if that's what they call in India. They can buy it, pop it, and then they want to feel fine. Then why would they want to come to you? So for the understanding, who is it that who comes to you? What is it that they come to you? And what is it that you know that they don't know about their energy? And then you can tell them to get out of their body, look at that energy, absorb that within themselves, and cure them. So help us understand, almost like a step by step about the type of people who come to you and the way you deal with them.
So I typically attract females who were a lot like me, and you kind of get to this point in your life, you're like, you feel stuck. Everything's fine, but nothing's great. Your health, your relationships, your work, everything's just kind of, it's okay. And you're starting to experience physical issues. Maybe it's your hormones are off. Maybe you're experiencing bloating after you eat. Maybe you have skin issues. Maybe your blood pressure is starting to rise. And again, this encompasses everything. This encompasses any facet of life. But typically people that come to me, again, are the females in about their 30s to 40s who are looking for, they're like, something's not quite right with me, and they can't quite pinpoint it. And I especially get people who go to the doctor because maybe they're in constant pain and they're diagnosed with chronic fatigue or fibromyalgia. And that's not an answer. That's literally not an answer. That is a label for something that doctors just don't understand well enough. And that comes down to an emotional issue. So I love working with people who kind of been dissed, I'll say like dissed by the medical community, like I was, and who are just looking for a way to really take back their health, not take a pill and cover it up and hope for the best and then have to continue taking that pill the rest of their life, but doing something that gives them their power back. When you are ready to take your power back, that is the type of person I'm looking for. When you just had enough with the pharmacology and the allopathic Western medicine way, and you really want to see why is it I'm experiencing what I'm experiencing, then that's where I come in. And a lot of times too, people are like, I just have bad luck or I have really bad relationships all the time. That's all part of it. That's all part of the unraveling. It's like unprogramming. You have to deprogram what you think is correct in the way to live and reprogram better beliefs and thoughts and values and bring you back to a whole being. Did I answer all your questions?
Yes, 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 Tracy. And in fact, I was just thinking about, about you being a firefighter. So, are you still a firefighter?
I am.
Yes. So, if you being a firefighter, and as well as you are doing this energy healing, so in a firefighting thing, you know what are the tools that you have got. Even before anything, you get sort of an information. You have those things ready so that you can immediately go out with them and deal with that fire or any incident that happens.
Yes.
In such case, in this case, what are the tools that you use when you are dealing with a case like this? It's not a fire as we have in the real life, but it is something almost like a fire within. It's like people experience that, sometimes a lot of restlessness, overwhelm, so many issues in today's modern life.
Yes. Well, I mean, it's a big I'll say interview, but it's a discussion between me and the client and finding out where they're at because a lot of times they think things are quote unquote normal. Um, Everyone experiences them, and it's really not. So I have to again deconstruct what they think is normal. But so I use some intuition, but I also, one of the things I use is called emotional clearing. And fortunately, it could be done remotely because energy does not abide by time and space and distance. So I remove trapped emotions, and this takes time because we can't remove everything at once, but we remove trapped emotions so that you become more heart centered. What happens when we experience life and we're disappointed, we're angry, we're fearful, we become less of ourself and ego starts to take over. And so I remove these trapped emotions so that you become more heart centered, more whole in who you really are based on your values and what your spirit is dying to get out. So that's one tool I use. I have a lot of like worksheet things that we work on, writing and drawing and all kind of fun little activities that we work on. But also meditating, simple, but people believe like myself that meditating is completely blanking out your mind for an hour and it's so difficult, but it doesn't have to be that. So we go over different meditations, different breath work. Again, more, things that are more physical and then things that are not so physical, that are not tangible, that, take a little time to teach. There's a lot of teaching that happens. So a lot of it is just, again, coming at it from so many different angles so that if one, hopefully many things resonate and you stick with them, but giving the big toolbox so that maybe down the road, a year from now, what didn't resonate will resonate later and you can use it then.
Right, right. How does this work in case people are blaming not themselves? Very few people are able to look at themselves. It's only happening only when in a later stage of life you think, yeah, you had to should have looked at it from your angle and looked at yourself that you could be the reason for all this. But early on, people don't look at. They find excuses. They find blame someone to blame. Maybe sometimes their parents, even as back as their ancestors, for the type of mindset that they have got, the DNA that they have got. So help us understand then how do you deal with a thing with those minds, especially when they are not ready to look at themselves. That can be a very stubborn position for some. So how do you make them see the right thing for themselves and get to the root of the problem?
Well, that's a great question. I actually don't work with people who are not ready to work because this is not fun or easy work. It takes courage to go through this work. Um, but for some people, I will say that because I will also release trapped ancestral emotions, and those are the ones that do the most harm. And I typically, when I first talk to somebody, they tell me what kind of physical symptoms they have, and I can kind of go backwards and say, your mom or dad was like this, and your grandparents were like this, because the patterns continue, and you can see the patterns. And so when I start pointing things out, they're like, well, how did you know that? It's just the patterning. It's what you basically inherited on a cellular and energetic level. And DNA is not even that important. It's the cellular emotion that's more important than the DNA that kind of rules your life. So when I hear that they have stomach issues, I know that one of their parents probably had anxiety, and then they dealt with XYZ when they were little, and so this keeps getting handed down. And when they start seeing that, then they're kind of like, oh, that's really okay. So doesn't mean I'll work with them still, but it kind of at least opens their mind a little bit to the idea.
Right, Tracy. You also talk about the using of vibrations. So and frequencies. What are they? Are they all another word for energy, or are these different things?
Well, frequency and vibration, I use interchangeably. Technically, they're not the same. And if you ask me, I'd have a hard time telling you the difference, but they are a little bit different. Energy can encompass many different things. So sometimes I will use it interchangeably, but energy is a broader scope. Frequency is quite literally a hertz. So it's measured in hertz, and I can measure anything, and including your thoughts or an idea or an outfit you're wearing, and we can find out where you are on a general level so that we know what starting point you're at, because the idea again is to raise that vibration higher and higher and higher so that you're eventually living truly from love.
Right. In this whole process, you have a master's degree in kinesiology, if I'm pronouncing it correct, and certification in holistic nutrition. So, do you also utilize that expertise? You get to utilize into what you are doing, or it is totally different. You don't get to use that.
I don't use it directly. I can. So kinesiology is basically how to manipulate the body for best practice, and then the holistic nutrition is obviously nutrition. So if I have to dabble into someone's nutrition plan or their exercise routine, I will. But typically the people that come to me are already exercising, and it doesn't matter what you do. And then we do, though, talk about nutrition and the importance of the vibration of food and how it will affect you, because everything you consume with your five senses does affect your body.
Absolutely. You said that it's difficult to work for people with people who are not ready to change. So how should people who want to work with you and want to heal themselves, what how should they get started before coming to you, or to going to anyone else?
Well, like you said, you kind of have to look in the mirror and be honest with yourself and where you're at. And are you one of those people that will blame other people? Then you're not being honest. And are you one who is so afraid that you won't look at anything else? Then that's also not helping you. So it takes, again, courage to just look in the mirror and say, I really need to do something. I need to change. And it's a scary process. So the hardest part is admitting that you need to change, and then seeing I am in control of my change. It's all on me. It has nothing to do with anyone else. That's
Right.
how you start.
you how you start, but when they can finish, how long does it normally take for a person to complete a thing like this when they know that okay, this is it, I'm fully well now?
It depends on so many different factors. Um, it can take the very, very minimum would be 6 months. It can take it's honestly it's a lifetime. It's not something you start and stop. It is something you start, and once your eyes are open to the reality of life, it's a continuous journey because there's always something else to learn or to grow from or expand from, because there's so many facets to the healing arts that it is a never ending process. I've been at it for almost 20 years and it'll never end. It'll never end.
Absolutely, absolutely. So for those people who want to learn more about you, from you, and for those who want to connect with you as a client, what's the best way for them to do so?
They can check out my website, consciousevolution.coach. I'm also on Facebook as Conscious Evolution Coach. And they can also email me at changeyourlife@consciousevolution.coach.
Wonderful. With this, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the KAJ Masterclass Live. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.